Jackie, did you hit record? Perfect. Welcome, you guys, to our final empowerment week of the year, Fall into Self-Growth. We are so glad to have you here. Thank you for spending an hour of your time with our only presenter that has presented every single empowerment week this year, Miss Sarah Foley, the vertical blonde. She honestly, y'all, if you have not been a part of her icon group, if you have not reached out to Sarah, she is a power and she will make you powerful. Unbelievable. She forces you to dig down deeper. You're going to see very, very soon. Some quick housekeeping. Of course, Panda Tires does give away a free set of tires for manual wheelchair users for every empowerment week. So please drop your name in that chat box if you are a manual wheelchair user and be entered into the giveaway. And then also, if your camera's not on, please turn your camera on because we love to see those beautiful faces, and this is an interactive course. So without further ado, welcome Vertical Blonde.
What's up, everyone? What is up? What is up? And Jackie, can you make me a co-host so I can share my music? And then that way. So, well, hello, everyone. Hello. I saw that we've got a Miss Wheelchair in the house as well. That was such a fun experience when I represented Hawaii. Got to throw that in there because it is pretty cool when we can bring all the states together. So welcome, you guys. So if you don't know what you've signed up for today, let me fill you in. So often when people start going down the rabbit hole of personal development and diving into giving back to themselves and pouring their hearts into their mind, their body, their soul, there comes a point where a lot of them say, now I want to start serving. Now I want to start giving. Now maybe I want to start making a little business. Maybe it's a side hustle or a full-fledged corporation out of the things that have served me, and I want to help serve other people. So, it looks like my screen sharing is now allowed. I don't do anything without pumping up the music. So in light of our theme, we're going to go ahead and just move our bodies a little bit as we become paper gangsters. So move your body. Let the flow. We can't learn. We can't absorb if we're at low energy. So let the music take over. There we go. What's up, Dawn? She's going to be my power mover today, I can tell. Hands up. Come on. Any less than someone just as real as fabulous. Come on, gangsta. Come on. Come on. Jackie, Brianna, you got more than that. Come on. There it is. Hands up. Get your bodies moving in the chair. Don't want no paper gangsta. Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now that we've pumped up the energy a little bit, now that we've changed the energy in the room, if you guys don't know much about me, my name's Sarah Foley. I go by Vertical Blonde. I am all about using everything that happens to me, whether good, bad, ugly, and everything in between, to my advantage, to help me learn, to help me grow, to help me connect, to help me expand, to help me get ripped open and reach a whole nother level of my own development. I use it all. And I use it all with a lot of vigor. I use it all with a lot of energy, and I use it all with a lot of appreciation, because that is truly how we can change the trajectory of our life. That is truly how we can change how we see things, how we use things, and where we're headed. So I see a lot of new faces, which is really exciting for Will With Me, because that for a while, I feel like each time I was seeing a lot of the same faces. So it's cool that we're seeing new ones today. And that makes me know that everyone that's on the screen has had some kind of a little pull, saying, I think I'm made for more. I think I kind of want to make a purposeful profit. I want to be doing good in the world, but I also want to be doing something good to my own bottom line and my own paycheck. Can I get a amen? Hallelujah. Okay, there we go. There we go. So that's what we're going to dive into today. And so if you are new to me, we've kind of taken this like very systematic growth every time I've presented on here. Every single time we've dove into, how do I heal? How do I grow? How do I make the most out of my life? How do I see the bright side? How do I remain optimistic when things don't feel so great? How do I do all of these things? And now we're going to take it all that step further. So it's from the pain to the purpose to the purposeful profit. So it's from pain in our own lives to then healing, to then finding a purpose within that pain, to then saying, I'm made for more. And frankly, that is what Jesse's doing with Will With Me, with Jackie's doing with Will With Me. I know Bree Babe over here personally. I know that's what she's doing. I know Jody, that's what she's doing. These girls are my disability icons. I got to give them such a big shout out. Stacy's also disability icon. She's worked with us before. And so that is the mindset that we embody. We say we are made for more, and now we got to use each other and our circumstances to do so. So I will just want to take a show of hands. Who is this resonating with so far? Yeah? Okay. So we've got hands raised all the way around, raised and blazed. I love it. So with that said, does anybody already have an insight for their own life, how you want to do that? Or is it just simply that you've got the calling? So let's take a couple of hand raises. Who just knows they have the calling? And who says, I know which way the calling is taking me? And then who didn't raise their hand at all? Because I'm not getting my math right. Okay, so we got some people on the fence. So let's start by doing this. First of all, if you do not have a pen and paper, go get one. I will wait. I'll wait. Go ahead and grab it. Yeah, we're not moving on until everyone's got it. There we go. Okay, good. So you've got your pen and paper, and I just want you to first answer that question for yourself. Do I just know that I've got the calling, or do I have clarity around that calling? So you're basically saying calling or calling with clarity. And now I want to ask you guys, is that calling or calling with clarity based around a inspiration or a pain point? Meaning, do you feel like a motivation, a spark of inspiration, something you want to offer, like this would be really great, or I can tell that there's a need for this, so that would be an inspiration? Or is it, I want to help others avoid the painful shit show that I've already experienced? So let's get our hands raised. So we've got inspiration or painful shit show, or a little bit of both. We got a little bit of both. So I will say that in studies that they've done, the biggest transformations with lasting results typically come from the painful shit show. And so I bring that up because if you can really get to the root of what your painful shit show is, I just like saying painful shit show because I think it's funny, but if you can get to the root of what your painful shit show is, then you are going to have a more lasting and sustainable energy to get you there. So if you're one that raised your hand on inspiration, don't feel defeated. I just want you to take another second and say, is it really around something that I found inspiration while going through my own painful shit show? Does that make sense? So let's all take a minute and really reflect on that, whether you answered one way or the other. Let's say, write out the answer to this question. What is the root of my pain that I'm helping others to either get through or help them avoid? And it also could very well be that, look, I reached a low in my own financial situation, that is the pain that now I need to do something bigger. I need to do something more because I never want to be in that situation again. So this is where we have no codes of judgment. This is where we strip it all off. We have no judgment about what we're writing. It is simply awareness, because we cannot progress without the awareness, right? The self-awareness is the sexiest thing that anyone can wear. So as soon as you get really self-aware of what is the painful root, that's going to help you have sustainable traction to get there. So just take another minute. I love it when I see heads down, writing, pens going. I love it. There's nothing that gives me more excitement than to know that like people are getting their money's worth. And this is a first where the girls have outnumbered the guys. What's up? What's up? You know why? Because typically women are the servant leaders. Typically, women are the ones that are like, it is more about me making an impact, a positive impact in the way that I make money than the fact I want to make money. We are driven so much more by the service and what it gives to our own like emotional bottom line than our financial bottom line. And that's a beautiful thing. But we're also going to get into in a little bit the pitfall of that as well. So I'm excited because there's kind of a pitfall that we can fall into as women too. So it's kind of cool. So, and Willie, I'm guessing you're a man, but I could be wrong by there. I know a lot of Tonys that are girls. So I don't know. Willie, we'll have to see your face in a minute. Don't let me scare you away either. Okay. All right. So does anyone want to share what they've come up with so far about their root? Does anyone have clarity around that they want to share? If not, it's cool. But if so, come on, bring it. Yes, Shamika. Is she able to unmute? There we go. Okay.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
So my focus and kind of at this point is really around self-love.
Amazing.
And yeah, and how I worked through that in my own life, and kind of had that shit show that woke me up to needing more self-love for myself, because I was loving more other people more than I was loving myself, and got myself into some situations. But
who can relate? Yeah, I think we all can. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything specifically that was like your moment of impact, wake up moment?
When I was spending money on other things that I wasn't using for other people because I wanted them to love me.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So do you mean this in sort of like buying their love?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. Like there was one person in my life that would take cabs, for instance, would take cabs to come and see me. And no, they didn't have any money, but they knew that if they came to me that I would give them the money. And then it piled up that I was paying like for a week's worth of cabs that I wasn't taking.
Yeah.
And when they showed up at my house and, you know, the cab driver was like, I'm calling the cops. That was like, oh, okay, well, I guess you're going to jail because I'm not giving you any money.
So the cab driver showed up and said, you either pay me or I'm calling the cops, because they literally got in a cab with no money.
Right.
With the expectation that you were going to pay.
Right. They came to my house and like, oh yeah, she'll pay when I get there.
And did you let them go to jail?
Yeah, I did.
Wow. Okay. First of all, I want to commend you for a boundary setting that I'm sure was really hard to do.
It was extremely hard. Yeah.
Very hard when you're looking at your friend that you've been paying for cabs over and over so that they could come. So now I want to ask, were you getting anything in return from that person in the ways of support, of love? Like, was this payment of a cab, was it serving you, or was it just serving your wanting to serve?
It served me in the way that I got attention from that person, but they were getting more from a lot more from me than I was getting from them. And me feeling that I needed to do that was love.
Okay.
That money exchange was love. And, you know, so I'm paying for it because I love you and you love me. And this is, you know, not having clarity of what the love actually is.
Okay, I want to just stop the music and give you a round of applause. Like, because so much just happened in just what you spoke. A boundary was set. You realized what is love and what is not love. And you were extremely self-aware in what you were doing. Not just yourself, but you proclaimed it to all of us in that awareness of, look, I mistook this thing, what I thought was love, for what really should be love. I made a mistake. I swapped them. I'm making the change to change it back. And that is, I was using it to get me attention, which in the end didn't even serve me because it was not even the right kind of attention from the right kind of people. Like everything you just said, I really want to commend you. And I'm so glad that you spoke up, because those points alone are like literally everything we're about to cover. So it's going to, why do you do what you do? What is it? How is it serving you? Are you filling a void that could be served and filled in a much healthier way? Are you getting into the business of serving just to get attention, to look good, to fill these voids? Are you doing that? Or are you doing it from a place of really healthy serving? And how can you really get aware in the process? And then are you getting from others, is what you're getting from others who you should really be getting it from? Because this kind of person that's going to ask and ask and ask and ask without giving in anything in return is not going to be serving you in the greater scheme of things. Does everyone kind of get what everything we just gathered from that quick synopsis from Shamika? Thank you so much for sharing, by the way. Thank you so much. Because I feel like everyone's going to think like, hey, I just called Shamika and be like, dude, like, this is what I want you to say. I want you to set me up really well so that we can go into the rest of this training. So that's awesome. I'm so excited. Very, very cool. So literally we're gonna take that as a jump shot. So as Shamika just shared with us, now I want you to ask yourself, why is it that I want to do what I want to do? Well, I guess actually we should back up 2 questions. Is it, number 1, do you know in which avenue you want to go into business or to serve? Do you know what it looks like yet? Do you have clarity around that? kind of. We've got this and we've got head nods. I've got no no's, so that's good. So go ahead and take a minute and write that down. So basically answering, do I have clarity around what I want it to look like? If yes, go ahead and write out what it is. If no, that's okay. You just write, nope, I don't have clarity yet. And that's okay too. If you kind of gather so far, today is all about giving you this framework of what do I need to still fill in the blanks? And what do I already have filled? Like what framework have I already created for myself? So let's go back to that painful shit show. Has everyone gotten to the root of a painful pain point? That's redundant. A painful pain point that they want to solve, that where it's stemmed from in their own life. Is anyone still that no, this is purely inspirational? This has nothing to do with a pain point. Is anyone still on the inspiration? Because if yes, I don't want to move on until we've gotten everyone to kind of a root pain. Because I tell you, people are going to do more to solve a pain point than they ever are to follow inspiration. Ever. They might initially feel inspired. Cool. So Stacey, I'm going to come back to you then. So initially they might come to you because they are inspired by what you say, but you're not going to keep them going until they feel a pain in themselves and in their own life being softened and being healed. So Stacey, I'm going to bring you up. Is that cool? Okay. Today's going to be a lot of like actual coaching. Okay. So I love that I've already got like volunteers. So instead of me talking at you, we're going to actually work through things today. Sound good? Because I feel like we can actually get a lot more when we do it this way. Okay, Stacey. So for the things that you've already answered, do you feel a calling or do you already have clarity around your calling?
I think that I have some clarity. Yeah, I know it's kind of in, almost there, but not quite. So I want to be a nurse health coach. Like we have all of these health coaches for wheelchair users and it's fabulous, but there's a piece missing. And I feel like I have the knowledge base and the experience to fill that certain healthcare or nursing piece, especially dealing with like wounds, because I mean, like we have to be very cognizant of that kind of stuff in our community. And I don't, maybe I haven't seen them, but I just haven't seen anything out there like that's specific to nursing health coaches for the wheelchair community. And so I don't necessarily know that comes from like my own personal pain. I mean,
well, let's dive into it. So you see a need, it sounds like you see a need for their nursing health coaching. And is it strictly out of a need for the nurses or a need for those they're serving?
No, like I think it's a need for, the wheelchair community. I think that it's not something I've seen. And any nurse coach I've talked to, they have their own niche, but they don't serve this community specifically, like SCI, paralysis, wheelchair using community. And I love being a nurse. I like serving individuals that way and people that way. And I just feel like if I could serve my community, people that relate to specific issues that we face, if I could serve them in that way, then that's where I feel called. I don't necessarily know that comes from a pain thing though.
And so this is more me clarifying. It's not the nurses with spinal cord injury, it's the nurses serving the spinal cord injury community. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, and you with having spinal cord injury, you have a taste of both.
Right.
So with them serving the spinal cord injury community, I'm sure I'm not the only one on the screen that has had their fair share of nurses that did not treat them in the way that they needed to be treated.
True story.
Like, I'd go even further that it's been pretty effing painful, some of the nurses that we've dealt with, from their lack of insight into what it feels like, right? Like, they can treat a wound all they want, but they're also missing a big part of the soul and the emotions of the person that's traveling through the wound, or the independence it's taken away, and all of the, there's a gazillion pain points around it. Do you yourself, have you experienced any firsthand pain around dealing with a nurse that you're like, Cal, if they would only have known A, B, and C, my experience would have been better?
I think probably right at the beginning of my injury, it was just, my total uncertainty of what this new life was. And then them not having, I live in a pretty rural area. So, I was like the first spinal cord injury they dealt with in 5 years, so it was like, ooh, and they didn't understand exactly how to fill all of my needs. I don't think so.
So not even to it wasn't even them not wanting to do it, but it was their ignorance of not experiencing a lot of it.
Yeah, I think I face ignorance a lot more than anything.
What's funny is that you bringing this up, this hit me the other day, that I think a lot of ableism, as they say, as much as I cringe with this word, even racism and ageism and all the isms, isn't so much people wanting to be mean, it's them just being flat out ignorant to what that demographic deals with, right? Or that just a lack of ignorance, there's not a lack of, with just an ignorance in general, not a flat out wanting to be mean. So it's not these nurses saying, screw it, I don't care about these people. It's them saying, you're the first one I've ever dealt with. I am ignorant beyond ignorant, right? Because I don't know. So I would say that while you are fulfilling a need, it is based 100% out of a pain point that you are filling. I'd say 100%. And if you specifically could go into kind of your own little soul and memories of like the most painful moment of having a nurse that didn't know what was going on. I'm sure each one of us could go around the screen. I'll never forget just learning how to get dressed in my chair. Okay, pretty straightforward what we got to get through, not super ugly, right? But she brought in a video for me to watch of someone in a wheelchair, and it was a man putting his clothes on. He was obviously nothing showed or whatever, but it was how to pull on pants. And I was like, that felt painful to me. The fact that she didn't work with me one-on-one to help me through it, that she brought in a video. It felt very disconnected, and it was painful. It was a moment that I remember feeling like this doesn't feel personal at all. And I'm not getting anything from watching this video. I might get some ideas, but like, I need to work through it. I need the encouragement. I need ideas. I need trial and error. Like, I need all the things. So I think, and this is why I bring it up, and this is why I'm going into such detail with each person today, you guys. And I hope that each one of you are saying, how can I put this into my own perspective here, into my own life and experience? So don't just tune off because I'm talking to somebody else. Really tune in, okay, and put yourself into her shoes. What I'm telling Stacy to do is saying, go into your own memory bank and think of the most painful experience that you had with a nurse as it relates to your spinal cord injury. Even a nurse saying, you're the first one I've had in 5 years. And you saying, this is my livelihood. This is my livelihood. I'm glad this is exciting to you, but I'm kind of falling apart over here. Like, I really need you to be my nurse right now, and I need you to know things. And if I'm your first, then I need you to go and research everything you can so that you can be the best nurse for me right now, because I have no idea, and I'm coming to you because you should know. So if you're still in the place of like inspiration versus the pain point, really, really dive into what is the most painful thing that I wish I had solved in my own journey, right? Shamika's got a very clear, painful moment when she had to set a boundary. She had to realize what love and self-love truly meant. She had to really view that like up close and personal. And then Stacy's in this really cool position because not only does she see that a void can be filled, but pain that she can also heal. So she is not only coaching to the nurse that says, you're the first one I've had in 5 years. She's also coaching that nurse. Absolutely, Stacey. I'm so happy to walk you through it. She's also coaching the nurse so that Stacey 5 years ago, or I can't remember the years, I'm so sorry. How many years ago when she first needed her nurse says she didn't have to go through that. That those newly injured Stacey, all of her pain points can be resolved when she gets a nurse that comes in and says, I got you. I got you. You're in good hands. I got you. And whatever I don't know, guess what? I'm going to figure it out. And guess what? I've got the best coach around because the one that's teaching me has also been in your shoes. So I'm going to be the very best nurse that I can be for you. I got you. How much different as a very, very newly injured person would your life have been if you had that nurse that came in by your side, grabbed your hand and said, I got you. We're going to figure this out together. Whatever I don't know, guess what? I've got the resources to figure it out. I'm a nurse because I really care about my patients. I'm a nurse because I want to help you through this. And I know where to get my answers because my coach, she's both a nurse and she's got a spinal cord injury. I got you. That is why it's so important that we get to the root of the pain point. Because you're healing pain in the process. You're healing your pain and you're healing the pain of everyone that you're serving. And not only that, you're preventing pain for people in the future down the road. Any ahas right now? Anything that you're like, holy moly, my life has been changed? Because I got a lot of head nods during that last one. Stacey, the work you're doing is going to heal a lot of pain. And you better believe it. Every person on this screen that has a nurse that they deal with is going to be like, hey, can you call Stacey? Because I need you to call Stacey right now. Does that make sense, Stacey? Did you get any aha from that? Yeah?
Yeah. I just, like I said, I really want to make it clear that like I want to coach wheelchair users, not necessarily nurses. I don't mind coaching nurses, but I want wheelchair users so that I can be that nurse for them that they don't have necessarily in their doctor's office or in their, in their reach, that I can coach them through whatever healthcare issues they're facing. So,
so I misunderstood then. I thought you were coaching the nurses for disability community.
no, I mean, like I said, I don't mind that, but I want to reach our community. I mean, it just like there was somebody that posted a couple weeks ago about a wound that they had, and they were asking for, suggestions on how to heal it. I'm like, oh, let me help you out here because I know this. I mean, I know how to help with a lot of the stuff that we face as wheelchair users. And I feel like there just isn't, I haven't seen anybody out there. I haven't seen that nurse, out there for us. So I want to be that nurse for the wheelchair community.
Ah, the plot thickens. The plot thickens. Okay, well, even better because of that. I would say that having something for the nurses would be really impactful too. You might want to think about that as well. Not to say that it's not needed for the wheelchair community, 100%. But I apologize because I misunderstood in the process, but I hope that the coaching still served nonetheless. Okay, cool. All right. So getting to the root of the pain that you want to serve is really, really important. Again, why? Because it's going to help keep you sustained. Because if it's by inspiration of why you're even getting into in the first place, guess what? You're going to fizzle really quickly. I'm just going to put it out there. Until you get to the root of why you want to do what you do and why you want to get into the business you want to get into, and it is rooted into helping heal some kind of pain, it will fizzle. How often have you watched an infomercial late at night? Maybe it's for like a weight loss journey or some supplement or cure your gut and all these kind of things. And you're like, ooh, that sounds good. Yeah, I would like to have better poops, or yeah, I would like to lose a little bit of weight, or yeah, I would like to do all these things. And you get really inspired, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, what is this thing on my credit card that I purchased at 3 a.m. that I completely forgot I even bought? Yeah, that's how they get you. It's inspiration only. Okay. And they do dig in a little bit of the pain point, but it's not sustainable. You've already forgotten by the time the sun has come up what you've even purchased in the first place. However, if the tables have turned and you are on the other side of this and you say, not another day, not another minute, I am done. I am done not pooping. I am done not losing weight. I am done feeling like this with my clothes. I am done being lonely because I'm not confident enough to leave the house. I am done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I am now searching the web for that perfect thing that's going to heal all of this together. That is when it's sustained. That is when now you've got this tick going on in your head that you can't let it go because you've got this pain point that you will not stop until it is healed. That is the sustainability that I'm talking about. And that is why you getting to the root of why you want to do what you want to do is so, so, so important. So go back to your papers and pens and answer this one thing. Why do I want to do what it is I want to do? And if you don't yet have clarity on what you want to do, right? You're the ones that saying, I just have a calling. I'm not sure what it is yet. Then say, why is it so important that I figure out what my calling is? Good. Okay, dance break. Raise the energy.
Come on, let's go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Praise the King.
Return to the Mac. Get up what
Know
it
the
is, what it
words?
does, what it is,
Rap
what
it
it
out.
is. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit me get up. First shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad.
Come on.
Walk,
Dance
it's
it out.
here. It's
Bounce
our
in your
party.
chair.
My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music. I shed my skin
Come
and put
on.
my bones into everything.
Come on, John. Where's
to
the
it.
energy?
Yeah, I'm on.
The higher
Let that
energy.
stage light go and shine on
Oh, she's
down.
thinking.
Got that
All right, here we
bomb,
go.
the soup game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and
Keep
stick
it going.
around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling.
Dance it
Chasing
out,
dreams
come
since I
on.
was 14
Energy.
with the 4-track busting.
I'm not
I break
moving
across
on.
that city with the
So everyone's dancing in the chairs.
labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing.
Come on.
Give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country. Here we
Go
go
down.
back.
Come
This is
on.
the moment. Tonight is the night.
There we go. There we go. Now, from this place, guess what? You can always answer from this place, from high energy, is the how. You can't answer why. You can only answer that internally, some introspection. But then so often we say, this is what I want to do. This is why it's so important. And now we say, but how the hell am I supposed to do that? How the hell am I supposed to do that? That feels really big. That feels really overwhelming. How the F am I supposed to do that? Oh my gosh, change the world? Who am I? I'm one person and I'm this small and I'm in Utah. Like, what the hell am I going to do by myself on my own? How the hell am I supposed to do that? But from a place of high energy, what can we do? Anything. Anything. Yeah, I saw Bree. Anything. What can we answer? Anything. We can always figure out how from a place of high energy. So often people are like, show me the way. Show me how to do it. Show me all the things, right? Every single thing you search for online is all, this is a technique to earn $1 million. And this is the technique to change your life. This is the technique to do this, to do that, to do this. But if your headspace isn't in the right place, if you're not super committed to why it is that what you want to do and why it's important to you, what pain point it's going to solve, it's useless. How many things have we bought? How many friggin' courses have we bought? How many books have we bought and never started, never opened, never done anything with? Because what? The inspiration is beside us? No, usually it's the little voice inside us that says, who the F do you think you are? There's no freaking way you could do that. You're too small. You're too this, you're too that. So take a minute and on that same paper, what is that little voice telling you right now? What has it been saying to you this whole time that we've been talking today? Why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you won't. What has the voice been saying? And get clear. Get really, really clear. Like, I want specifics. Want to know what mine says? It says, you're too much, Sarah. You're really fucking annoying. You annoy the crap out of people. Like, calm down. No one wants to listen to you. You're too optimistic. People need to be realistic. Don't get their hopes up. That's what the voice tells inside of my head. So what do? I shrink and I play really, really small. And I have to remind myself to show up and to go all out. Because even just one person actually follows that hope and dream and changes the freaking world. Why the heck should I stop it? So I want to do something kind of big right now. and it might be a little scary. Who wrote a lot of things down that would be willing to not only say it out loud, but to play a little bit of a game with it? Anyone want to go for it? I know I might be scaring you right now, but guess what? I know it's gonna be worth it. I love when I make Jackie laugh. Jackie's one of those ones that I think I might have scared in the beginning. And she's like, I kind of like you. Who wants to play a game with me? Who wants to rip out? All right, Vanessa, here we go. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and ask to unmute you here. There we go. All right. So Vanessa, first of all, I need you to answer a couple of things. Do you know what the calling is, or do you just know that there's a calling?
I'm pretty 99% sure of the calling.
Awesome. I love it. What is it?
So, and it might be sort of broad, but I'm a C2 quadriplegic. So, I need care 24 hours a day. Like I have enough, I can stand up in my chair and things like that. So I'm not, for my injury level, I'm somewhat independent, but I still require a lot of care. So I'm trying to figure out a way to tie it into, like I'm very experienced with insurance. I was a disability case manager when I was paralyzed in my car accident. So I have extensive knowledge of medical insurance. I worked for a doctor when I was 19. My first job, I was filing insurance claims. So I think I'm really good at that. But I want, like recently, my grandfather is in a nursing home because he can't, he's 87. He has huge savings, all that stuff, but he can't afford care at home. So my personal fear is ending up in that place. I'm 38. I have a partner that helps take care of me 24 hours a day. So I want to make that number one. I want to change that being available to people with insurance. Like I've done tons of advocacy work. So I want it to include advocacy as well as helping people find what kind of plan they actually need and can use for insurance, whether it sounds morbid, but end of life. Is it, who do I want to take care of me? Like I know people cover that when they do a will, but I'm definitely not an attorney and I don't want to be an attorney. I want to do like the more human aspect of that. Does that make sense?
100%. I love when there's people out there like you that want to cover this kind of stuff. It's amazing. Okay.
A lot of people need it.
They do. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh my gosh, I needed you like last.
Well, and I have a lot of friends. I was injured when I was 25. So, and that's, I've also met people that were injured in their teen years. So they have older parents taking care of them. So it's something I've talked about with them. It's a concern, like what happens to me if I have to depend on, like what Stacy was talking about earlier, possibly with, if you don't have that nurse available that's being compassionate, knows how to care for you, you end up in a home, and then what? I mean, I have friends in that situation too. So it's kind of been spurred on for several years, but now I'm dealing with it personally in my family, not just friends. So it's just watching it happen so often. It's something I think is really useful.
So you've got a couple layers to your why.
Yeah,
you've
so
got
like, I don't know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That means it's rooted in there even deeper. That's awesome. I freaking love that. Okay, so now let's talk about, because you answered my second question, which is awesome. So now we can get right to it. So what are some of the things that you wrote as to why you can't? And I want you to tell them to me.
So one of them is really specific, even just, it's not even so I don't feel like I can make a significant income because I'm nervous to lose benefits that I have that I fought really, really hard to get. And I don't want to be held back by money, obviously, but at the same time, I'm not in a position to do it for free. So that's one of my pain points is it's frustrating to be held back by income when I don't want to be a millionaire. I mean, obviously that'd be great, but that's not.
Don't say you don't want to. Everyone wants to be a millionaire if were given the choice. That is totally fine to want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire, but making a lot of people millionaires. That's my goal. So, okay, so we're gonna start with this one, okay? On account of time. Holy crap, where did my hour go? I don't even know. So the first one, this comes up every single day. I don't want to make too much money because I'm going to lose my benefits. Who here has had that fear? Yeah, it is such an honest fear. So there's a couple things that you guys need to do to get really clear on this as you're embarking on creating a business. First of all, everyone go out and get this book. Literally, it's $14 and it's called More Relaxing, Less Taxing. I know it's kind of cheesy. And it's why you would be brain dead not to own a business. It's super short, it's little, it's super easy. Jackie, maybe you could put that in the chat for me. More Relaxing, Less Taxing by Courtney Epps. The reason for this is that the IRS, now I am not a tax professional. I am in no way wanting to be ever, but I will say a couple things. The fact that this fear comes up so often is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The fact that we are limited by our need for security is heartbreaking. And that security is livelihood, right? So what do we want to do? We want to make sure that we have a sustainable income before we do what? Cut that safety net. So the IRS does something that's really cool for our situation. The IRS does not deem you as to having a legitimate business until it makes more than $400 after expenses a month. Otherwise, they consider it a hobby. Why is that important? It's important because once you decide that, yes, I want to start a business, you need to start an LLC ASAP. Because what does that mean? It means you can start writing off your expenses. It means that you can write off your internet. You can write off your phone. You can write off your courses on branding. You can write off courses on how to be better in business. You can write off your courses on how to learn more about insurance. You can write off your education. You can write off all these different things. And why is that important? Because if your expenses are more than you're bringing in, it's considered a hobby. So what you're doing is you're building up your knowledge, you're building up your clientele, you're building up your momentum, you're doing all this buildup before you cut your safety net. Does that make sense what I'm telling you guys right now? So if I bring home $500 a month in my business, but it costs me $600 a month to stay in business, in anyone else's situation, that would be a bad thing. But when we are getting benefits from disability, from Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all the different benefits that come through, you don't want them to see that you're making a substantial profit right away until you know that it's sustainable. Once you know it's sustainable, you take those scissors and you tell the government to go fuck themselves. Because you're going to go out and make all the money that you want. And then you never look back. Everyone hear me right now? You never look back. You don't get in that pitfall again unless tragedy strikes and you're back to something like we've gone through. That's okay when you need it. It's not okay to stay in it when you don't need it. And that's what you're doing in this process. You're proving to yourself that you don't need it. But that interim time, it's so hard. I'm not going to say it one way or the other that it's not. Okay. This book, the reason why I like it so much is that it's really easy to get to understand taxes and writing things off and understanding that process. So you can literally write off as much as possible, because you can then write off the portion of your house that's your office. You can write off your internet bill. You can write off all these really cool things that you couldn't write off until you're actually in business. So that's why starting that LLC right away is really, really important. And there's a ton of resources online as to how you get that set up right away. And so what you're doing is you're gaining momentum. You're gaining knowledge. You're gaining the know-how. You're gaining these write-offs. You're gaining all of this stuff so that the point that you say, yes, I'm ready to go all in. I'm ready to just give it everything I've got. I'm actually ready to make that transition. I know I like this business. I know I'm good at it. I've got clientele and I'm ready to cut the cord. Then you're ready. So you're not starting at that point. You're starting way before. So in the process of time, I could talk about this stuff all day, and I apologize for like our timeline. Is that there's so many things I want to do to wrap this up. I wish I had 3 more hours. So Vanessa, so my question to you then is that you had kind of stated like a limiting belief of, I can't make a significant income. Well, that's what I had written down in my notes. Tell me again what that liner was that how you had said it. There we go.
Okay, sorry. This is like my second Zoom call. That's really good.
That's okay. Oh my God, you're doing amazing. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, so it's making basically more than, I don't remember what it's. I don't want to be scared to not do something because of medical benefits. I mean, that just seems ridiculous. And I've been fighting that for 13 years now.
Long time.
But I also have like the caregiver requirement too. So, that makes it even scarier.
So like you can't show that you can do too much.
Just even like, yeah, I mean, even at school, like to get someone to go with you to school, or just everywhere there seems to be a barrier, it functionally, physically, or financially.
Yeah. So there's a lot of layers to it.
Yes, ma'am.
So for the financial one, did I sort of
that book
uproot a little bit of that?
I mean, yes, ma'am.
Cool.
And it's something that, I have in my head, like, just go for it. It's deal with the repercussions that come with it. But being that I do require 24-hour care, literally, I'm also a type 1 diabetic. So that
you got things.
But yeah,
totally.
So as everybody does. Then that's what I'm trying to potentially help people to figure out how to.
Amen. And, I think that there's differences too of like your physical needs versus your psychological needs can be very, very different too. So keeping that in mind. And, I think that that's a tricky one when needing the benefits, is that you have to prove that you can't do the gainful activity, yet you can't do some activities. So you need the help. So I definitely get it. And I don't want this to minimize the fact that it's a serious thing that we all have to gauge. I think the thing that I like to get at to people is, don't just do it and deal with the repercussions. do it really strategically and do it little by little, right? So first of all, it's just saying like, okay, financially, this is how I can get around it, at least in the beginning. And every situation is going to be a lot different. But what I like about Vanessa is that she's gotten really clear as to what it is she wants to do and why it's really important. It's multi-layered for her. It's personal and it's also in her family. So again, it's going to be sustainable. She's going to keep hacking at this every single day. It's not going to be something that she wakes up tomorrow and says, what did I talk to Sarah about? Like, what was that call? No, she's gonna be like, oh my God, now I've got my next plan. Now I've got at least my next step that I can move forward with. And I always say, like, where there is a will, there is a way. Or my dad used to say, where there's a will, there's a relative. But where there's a will, there's a way. When you get in the right mindset, I know it's so cheesy. When there's a right mindset or there's a right energy level, there's the right physiology, which that's why I made you dance. It's not just to like make you dance and make us all look silly on Zoom while we dance in our living rooms. It's because you make a different decision when you're doing it from a high energy place. When you're doing it from a place of fear, when you go in to start a business and you say, yeah, but if I lose my benefits, I'm screwed. Guess what? That puts you in a state of fear. Every exit has been closed off. You're not going to move forward because you are only going to see red. But instead, if you say, no, there is a strategic way I can do this, I just don't know what it is yet. And I think so I already told you what the sexiest thing we can put on, right? That self-awareness. But the best attribute we can have is resourcefulness, is knowing I might not have the answers, but guess what? I bet if I asked someone on the Zoom call, at least we've got 9 of us right here, someone is bound to know the answer. And if they don't, their sister does, their aunt does. Like, you can figure out the answer, or good old Google does. So get resourceful, get creative, but also get really strategic. And above all else, get your energy right. Get your energy tapped into and rooted into why it's important. Raise your energetic vibrations so that you're doing it from a energized space instead of a fearful one. So that is my high horse. That is my soapbox. That is why I'm so passionate, because I've led this program called Disability Icon for about 3 years now. And I thought for so long it was just about fitness. It was like, get in, bash the wheelchair tummy. And just in the recent, I'm talking months, I knew this, but I didn't know this in my core, that it was so much more about what just thinking about yourself and seeing yourself differently. Hell yeah, Brianna, seeing yourself differently, you were able to have different results in your life, in your relationships, in your work, in your play, in your family, in your business, in your friends, all of these things. And so much so that it was like everyone came there originally to help get healthier, but it was so that we had the vitality, aka the energy, to go out there and pursue our dreams. And that's what it always came down to, was we all have big plans. We better make sure that our health and vitality is in the right place so that we can go out and pursue it. And now our tagline is, there's an icon for that. There's literally you go to our group and it's you need anything from social media to how to start a 501c3. There's an icon for that. We are a resource hub, and it's amazing and it's growing. And if you guys want to join, I want to give everyone your first free month, and I want you to come in, see what it's all about. Don't get worried by, can I do this? Can I do that? Just come in and see if it's for you. And it starts with our fitness and our vitality. And then before you know it, the sky's the limit. So I just really want to support, and I love the Will With Me Foundation. I love that you guys have empowered people week after week through this program and what you guys are offering and helping people do. And I just love being a part of that from the get-go. So thank you guys so much for having me on. I hope everyone got something, that they have a nugget they can take back and continue on their journey.
There we go. Thank you, Sarah, for always volunteering your time and really just dropping these nuggets on us. It's like these knowledge nugget bombs every single time. So when you guys your get your email with this recording, we're actually going to have all the recordings in that email. So you will be able to go back to February and start at the beginning so you can go through the progression, because truly every single course has been a progression with Sarah, and it's been a very powerful experience. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Love that move. That was the move.
That's what that
Dawn,
book's for.
Right. Dawn, congratulations. You won the Kenda tires. So please, I sent you a private chat. You just need to email your name, address, and tire size to info@wheelwithmefoundation.com, and we will get those sent out to you ASAP. This week, you guys, we have an incredible rest of the week of presenters. Tomorrow is going to be shoulder hygiene and really taking care of your shoulder health as a wheelchair user. I'm sorry, .org. That's my fault, Dawn. And then Thursday, we have how to become an advocate. Friday is creating a resume to get that job. So you want to get a job, join us then and learn how to create that resume and get yourself out there. Sarah, as always, thank you for bringing that vertical blonde energy every single time. We really appreciate having you, appreciate the dance parties. And again, your perspective and knowledge are just very, very appreciated here in this group. So thank you. And thank you everyone for spending an hour with us today. Really appreciate it. So go ahead. Oh no, there we go.
Oh, I just wanted to point out that your energy is anything. Does everyone remember that in the beginning of the call, Dawn was dancing more than anybody else and I called her out? Yeah, and she won the Kenda tires. I just want to say that your energy will like help you win. It will help you succeed. It will help you do everything. Energy is key. So couldn't have planned that one better than if I tried. So thank you guys. This is awesome.
And thank you guys. We will see you again tomorrow. Please be looking out for this recording in your email. Like I said, go back, watch the old ones, because I mean, and join the icon, become an icon, because it is amazing that not only from the workouts, but just the classes themselves, like the 15-minute little nuggets that Sarah drops is just always, it's like, ooh, that's just what I need to hear. Ooh, that's a good nugget. I'll take that. And so be sure, check it out, take advantage of that free month. Again, all that information will be in the email sent post this call. And until tomorrow, y'all, I appreciate you.